Hi all, right back with more Labyrinth, the Awakening, playing the Arab Spring scenario solo. This is part 24. Could probably be the last part, I think. We know we're not going to get another turn. It is our turn, we have 4 cards left to play. Unfortunately we got one discarded. They have 2 cards left to play, so they've only got one more action phase. Looking at our cards, we could technically do this and give them just 1 card left to play. And then, of course, the other cards are Gaddafi could remove the civil war in Iraq. However, I'm starting to feel that the benefit to that is, well, the benefit I thought I was getting was to turn it fair ally because we've got more troops and militia than cells, but it's fair ally now as it is, as Hamler corrected me in the attrition phase. There was 1 hit left over to deal to alter its governance. Yeah, I actually don't think I've changed that on the score yet. Not that it matters too much. So it's 1 more fair, good country, I think. I'll keep the resources one on top. That's an more important one for us to track. And I'm not sure if this should be at 4 or actually sitting at 6 right now. It still feels rather odd that would be the case, and that is because this is a green regime change marker, and it states in the rules that at the end of the game, if we've not won by other means, that is counted as an Islamist rule country. But it wasn't Islamist rule before we'd done the regime change. It was civil war. So Not sure. And yeah, nobody's had a bash at answering my question yet as well on it. So I'm going to have to wait a bit longer. Right, I can see we've got 1, 2, 3 good countries. Bit of threat in the Gulf States. They put 2 cells in there. Only 2 cells, though. The other one failed to travel, didn't it? And so that's 3 good, and then the 1 fair. That does indeed add up to 4. Poor Islamist rule, we're showing 9. We've got 1 down there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe there's just 8, maybe I missed 1. So Turkey 1, Egypt 2, Syria 3, Saudi Arabia 4, Yemen 5, Indonesia, Malaysia 6. And then the 2 Islamist rule countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, that's 8. Yeah, seems like that's maybe not been altered as well and should be down at 8. Resource-wise, we've got 7. 2 resource countries at good and 1 3 resource country at good. Again, they've got 2 cards left. They can't recruit, the funding's in moderate, so unfortunately they can't recruit. But if they got a 3 ops card, they'd probably want to travel cells into there. Oh no, I've decided, no, and that's even worse, Grant, that's worse. They're going to attempt a jihad, aren't they? I mean, knocking that to fair, okay, they've got to get lucky and roll a 1, but that could happen. So yeah, I think I was thinking about trying to get some troops in there to stop that. Yeah, that doesn't stop them doing the minor jihad, Grant. That doesn't stop them. I'll tell you what would stop them. Using Reaper, not to discard a card for them, but to remove the 2 cells. I think that could be our play, by the way. Because they've got 2 cards left. Unless it's an event that they draw, they could just draw 2 events, carry them out. There's nothing in the rules to say that they would override that, I don't believe. So, you know, you could step in there, I suppose, but I don't feel like this is a game that you should step in, but maybe some would say that, look, rather than use a 3 ops, say it was a 3 ops jihadist card, then why not have 2 die rolls in there, turn the 2 cells active and attempt to shift that to fair? Because that's, you know, if they don't, they're going to lose the game. Well, I'm saying they're going to lose the game. Even if they don't have these extra 2 resources, which I'm probably going to err on the cautious side and say that they do. But however, even if they don't, they're sitting at 4 and we're at 7. So we need 2 more resources, or we need to knock them down. Knocking them down is not an option. I don't believe. Because I've already spoke about getting this Caliphate capital away. Yeah, it's going to still exist if we remove this Caliphate, and the Caliphate would come away if we remove the Civil War. That's still going to be there. And, well, in actual fact, we can't get rid of that until the regime change ends. So we're not going to be able to get rid of that 1 point there. And we can't get rid of the 3 points that they've got there, I don't think. No, it's too late for that, to like regime change. Well, no troops on the track and all that nonsense. So I don't think we can stop them. We can reduce their resources. So what we need to do is up our resources by 2. Ideally, I would like to play it safer than that, but I've only got 4 cards left. I'm already talking about having to defend this. This is probably going to be my first play to get rid of the 2 cells. And that's also going to make 1 cell available to recruit. Which might mean the last 2 turns they would recruit a cell with 1 card and then try a minor jihad. That might still end up in tears if they get real lucky and roll a 1. So what we need to do is score some more points. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ideally, I want to be at 13 points. Now hang on, good resources. No, that's 3 decks, so minimum good for US 1. Right, yeah. If I get to 13, then even if they're at 6, we get a 1. To get to 13, I need to turn 2 countries good that aren't already. So the targets for that could be Syria, to be honest. It's poor at the moment, but there's no plus modifiers there for me, and it looks like my prestige is going to stay the way it is. Did I not have 1 card in my hand that was going to... Yeah, I've got 1 card in my hand that can up prestige by... Well, actually, this would actually up the prestige by 2 now, wouldn't it? Because Syria is ally. It's a poor ally because of the regime change. So we would remove their WMDs and score 2 prestige with that card. But 2 prestige only takes us to 3. And the fact that I'm limited to the cards that I've got. So I think the better option, clearly the best option is Iraq. But in actual fact, I could sit and... Yeah, I think you might have to grant, because if you're going to do the other options, obviously Egypt with a +1 awakening marker, which is going to balance that out, which means no modifiers. Does mean we need a 4. Sorry, no, it means we need a 5 or a 6. And so, yeah, I see Gaddafi's not worthwhile playing now. And this Quagmire card is the other card I've got for 3 ops. So I could use this for 3 ops and try and get that fair. Remember, you've got 1 in reserves as well, Grant. That's my turn though, eh? Yeah, they've got 2 cards left, we've got 4. I think I've got to really consider that they're not getting these 2 resources. I think for me to try and get 2 countries to good, it's possible. I need to do 2, well actually it'll be a 3 and a 2, wouldn't it? So I'd do a 3 and a 3 ops and a 2 ops. So move this from poor to fair. Then then make it fair to good. Problem with that is your fair to good roll is going to be on a -1, isn't it? Yeah. Which means a roll of a 6. I actually maybe feel like we should just try and shift the rack to good. And not leave it until the attrition. What else could you do? Get your prestige up. Well, like you've said, this could boost your prestige up by 2. Then you could disrupt either Egypt or Syria. That would require a 3 card. So that card to put your prestige up to 3. That card to disrupt, putting your prestige up to 4. So we're out of the low. Then, well, I still need to play this, I think, to remove these 2 cells. And then I've only got 1 card left. I've got 1 option reserves. I mean, it doesn't give me the time to do Egypt or anything like that, does it? What it would do is give you an extra +1. Well, technically an extra +1, wouldn't it? It'd remove the -1 for the Iraq roll by doing that. Okay, I really think I need to remove these 2 cells in the Gulf states. Yeah, no good. That was annoying me losing that other card. I think that would have really made a difference, having 1 extra card. Because I think the point of reserve that I've got there. Of course, I suppose I was thinking of using Reaper as the 1 reserve and getting the reserve at as a 1 point and using the reserve for make it 2. That would let me have a go at Iraq, for instance, or. But I think these cells are far too important. Okay, I'm going to play this as my first card play for the event. Okay, so here we go. We might have read this one before because there's 3 of these cards. Reaper. With 15 times the payload carrying capacity and 3 times the cruising speed of the Predator, the Reaper is changing the game for persistent aerial counterinsurgency. Okay, so Reaper. Advanced UAV becomes operational. So we can either remove up to 2 cells in any one Muslim country or randomly discard 1 card from the jihadist's hand. Both of the options are really quite tasty. Removing one of their last 2 cards would be great, but it'd still be a gamble because their last card could carry out a minor jihad attempt in Gulf states. If successful, making that fair, losing us 3 resources. Yeah, and it would also spoil, take away our adjacent ally good for our chance in Iraq. So I'm going to remove up to 2 cells in any one Muslim country. I'm going to remove 2 cells from Gulf states. So that's the 5th cell in Ampol. So they've got 1. They actually have 1 cell in Moderate now, so that's recruitable because their funding's there. We're also going to leave a cadre there because that was the last cell removed by event. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do that. So what do we do with our last card, our second card then? Do we just go for Iraq? Right now we've got a -1 for the prestige, +2 for the 2 aid markers though, so that's at a +1, and then no, +1 for adjacent good but -1 for going to good, so it's only a +1, isn't it? Is that right? the good and the good cancel each other out. One prestige marker cancels one aid. We get a +1. So we get a result on a 4. Other option is we boost our prestige, then we boost our prestige again by carrying out a... Wait. We play this card to remove WMDs in Syria and gain 2 prestige. Up to 3. That's our turnover. They play the last 2 cards. We've got these 2 cards left. We play this to disrupt and Lights of Egypt to gain 1 more prestige to get up to 4. And we use our last card to attempt War of Ideas in Iraq with a +2 modifier. If that was to then fail, we go into the end of turn step and we're still going to get a chance to do polarization there, assuming they've not got cells. We'd have a die roll of 1 to 4 to turn that good. They've still got 2 cards though, Grant. And you've seen what all the more recent cards have done. They've done something significant. If they get something unplayable right now, what are they going to do? Should we look into that? Well, the last time, because they couldn't recruit, they travelled cells into the Gulf states. They had a couple of cells adjacent that they could travel. That's one they can't. They don't want to travel out of it. That last cell, so if they travel, they're going to be travelling by rolling a dice, and they're going to need the 1 on the result. But they've got 1 recruitable cell. So I want to say if it's non-playable, now if we were to increase, I'll tell you what, if we were to increase our prestige and they come down this road, they're going to plot. Does that bother you? Maybe not. If we don't move our prestige, is there a cell available? There'd be 1 cell available, so they'd recruit it. Let's just say the card's a 3 ops card though. They'd then use 2 ops for radicalization, so I'm not going to read into all that. Where would they recruit though? If recruit, auto recruit with best jihad DRM. So sorry, it's Islamist rule last with that, so they wouldn't recruit in there. I'm just wondering. I think the last cell travelled out of there, didn't it? I'm just looking at the possibility why is there not a cadre in there, but yeah, the last cell travelled out, didn't it? So I think they would recruit in Syria, which doesn't bother me. I know what I'm going to do. No, you don't want to take the chance with that, Grant. There's no cells in E. Also looking at the fact there's no cadre here either, but I want to say that they travelled the last cell into Pakistan, didn't they? And remember, when they go by travel, it's only if the cells were moved by event or... What's the other one? I think I'd remember that one, huh? Why you leave a cadre? Right, here it's here. Whenever the last cell in a country without a cadre is removed by disrupt or event, not jihad or travel. Yeah, that last one travelled out there as well. I think I'm gonna keep my last 2 cards. Well, I really need to keep this till the last anyway. Yeah, that reserve's just going to go to waste, I think. I don't think I do like the idea of boosting my prestige, knowing that they're maybe going to plot. I'm not quite sure what that's going to bring. I'm going to play this. Yeah. I'm going to play this for the ops. So I'm going to play this for 2 ops. Yeah, the reserve is going to waste. And I'm going to carry out a deploy. I'm going to target an ally Muslim country. And I'm going to move any number of troops from one location on the board to that target ally Muslim country. I'm going to move these 2 troops from Indonesia and Malaysia to Iraq. It's going to cost me 2 ops because it's fair, the country's fair, that's what I played the 2 ops card. I'm going to do that, right. We know that they are all in Iraq, right. So now I've got 5 troops and 1 militia, which is 6. If we go into polarization right now, and they don't have a cell in there, I don't even need to roll the dice. In fact, they need to have 2 cells in there to protect it, wouldn't they? And if they don't do that, I'm automatically going good with that. And I cannot reach 13 resources here. I reckon I can get 10. So if this is at 6, which I really don't think it can be. Right, hang on a second, Grant. Hang on a second. This is auto recruit as well. And it's got a cadre. So would they recruit the one? Well, if it's only 1 cell, I don't mind. Because we would still have the unfulfilled hit. Like Hamler pointed out to me. And they can only recruit 1 cell. Anything that says play cells is a different game, like that's a different story. But I'm going to go with that, I think. Yeah, and I'm just going to concentrate on that. They're going to play the last 2 cards. And if there's no cells in Iraq, I can just leave Iraq, and I could actually have a bash at 2 War of Idea attempts in Egypt with my last 2 cards. Just go for it, because I'm going to know that this is going to go good. Okay, we're going with that. That was our 2 cards played. This was not played for event. Reaper was, however, they're both just discarded. Right, down to the nitty gritty. And this card here is just lapsing. If the US election card comes into play, it'll do something. But we know that's in the discard pile. At least I'm pretty sure I came across it when I was looking through the discard pile. Okay, shall we move on? Yes, let's do that. Right, the last 2 cards. Here's the first one. There's only 1 ops, that's good. They have 1 reserve. It's it's got the wee caliphate symbol. No, the caliphate. Yeah, caliphate. Does that not mean this? No. Anyway, right, so unassociated event. Let's get a red cube then, Grant. So what does it do? Place 1 militia or 2 cells in an African country. On an African country. Add 1 additional of either if in Mali or Nigeria. Okay, now I want to say it was Tim clarified with me that there's something somewhere that tells you exactly what the African countries are. I mean, I suppose you should sort of know a bit of simple geography and know that they're all on this side of this is Africa, isn't it? This is North Africa, and South Africa is obviously further down. But yeah, I'd still like to see it written that it tells you about all these. I mean, I think Nigeria and Mali are as well. In fact, Mali and Nigeria are mentioned on this, so they clearly are. But I'll maybe just confirm that you've got Kenya, Tanzania here as well, which is non-Muslim. But my guess is it's this, and this. And that's all the African countries. Now, it's clearly going to say that it's not going to place militia. Whether that'll even be on the thing or not, yeah, well, it is. 201, place cells using recruit and travel 2 priorities. No word table there. Okay. I'm just going to look back and find where that's written that's confirmed about the African country. Could it be in the FAQs then? He did say it was confirmed somewhere, but I can't remember. I don't think I bothered paying it too much attention because I was past that and it didn't matter to me. I don't know if this would be in the new... Oh, here we go. Yeah, I was just about to give up there. Right, so this is the errata for Awakening. And there we go. The first question is, what countries are in Africa? For game terms, there are a total of 9 countries in Africa. Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, Sudan, Somalia, Kenya/Tanzania, Nigeria and Mali. So is it, what did we say, 9? Is it the 9 we said? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, that would be correct. So Morocco, yeah. Algeria, Tunisia, yeah. Libya, yes. Egypt, yes. Sudan, yes. Somalia, yes. Kenya, Tanzania, which is the non-Muslim one there, yes. Nigeria, which is also non-Muslim at the moment, and Mali. Okay, so it's the 9 countries, right? So it is, as you would think, but it's always nice just to get that confirmed. I mean, if you didn't really know much about geography at all, you probably wouldn't, some people probably don't. I was sort of struggling a little bit, but, well, I thought I was right, and it turns out it was, but... So cross-border support. So this is going to be playable. Yeah, so playable event. Right, bottom of the page, it goes over on the next page as well. So cross-border support. Several regimes or insurgent organisations represented in the game reached out to soldiers of fortune to aid their cause. These mercenaries differed from foreign fighters in that they were better trained, I'm assuming, though not necessarily ideologically motivated. Additionally, countries such as Chad and Cameroon supplied troops to fight jihadists, insurgents in neighbouring countries, and jihadists themselves regularly free range across borders to achieve their objectives. So playing this for events, so they are going to get a boost. They're going to end up with 2 reserves for the last card. So place 1 militia or 2, well, they're obviously going to place cells. This is good because it's going to take the last possible recruitable cell as well away, and it's just going to put it down in Africa, which we don't care about, I don't believe. Hey, stop, Grant. Yes, you do. Look at these 2 African countries. And you know what the priority is going to be, Grant? It's going to get stolen away from me. Okay, well, let's find out. We were to Do this with the recruiting priorities, not table, cross-border sport. Place cells using recruit and travel to priorities. Okay, so there's 9 possible options here. Hang on a second. Right, so 9 possible countries. Recruit and travel to priorities. Is there a poor Muslim 1 to 4 more cells and troops and militia? No. The only one that's got cells is here, but they've not got 1 to 4 more, which is probably a shame because I've been happier than putting there. It's not recruit, it's placing cells. Good Muslim. You knew it was there, eh? You knew you were just going to... Right, so there's 2 options. Morocco or Algeria, Tunisia. So we stop there. We've got 2 possible targets. We come down to the table. No. There's no Baziz regime. One of them's got a cadre, one of them's not. Don't think that'll be relevant. So no. It's going to come to resources first. And that poor them, good. Well, we know they're both good. Highest resource, they're both 2s. So no. Russia, that's just in the base game. No disrupt, prestige gain. I'm still not 100% sure what that one means, but there's nothing that suggests that might be. If recruit, highest rec, well, it's not recruit, and there's no rec number in the countries anyway. Best jihad DRM does apply. However, they're both the same. There's no awakening / reaction markers there. So they've both got the same chance as each other for a jihad. So no. Same posture as US, they've not got posture. Most cells, there's a cadre in one, but not in the other. Adjacent Islamist rule, no. We've got the winner in the last step. Oil exporter. It's not adjacent Islamist rule. Algeria, Tunisia is an oil exporter though. So we're taking 2 cells now, just have a look here. We're taking this cell, which would have been a possible recruitable cell. This is not recruitable. So these 2 cells come off the track. They're going into Algeria, Tunisia. Sleeper cells. We remove the cadre. And this is not good. I mean, okay, they are going to need a 1. But it could all come crumbling down. So that's it. That's them carried out that. Now we've got the little red cube because this was an unassociated event. It was 1 ops. We were on 1 reserve, so they're going to bump up to 2 reserves. And that's our first card played. I need an event to turn up here, I think, for the last card. And an event that's not going to do anything horrible. Because if it's not an event, I'm pretty sure they're going to do a minor jihad attempt in Algeria, Tunisia. Right, well, let's see, let's go for it. Their last card of the game. Oh no, it's a 1, but remember they've got 2 reserves. Critical middle, I get the feeling this is maybe not. So unassociated event, critical middle. Right, if US play, it's not. If jihadists, here we go. If jihadists in a poor 1 or 2 resource country place up to 2 cells from anywhere, it's going to be playable, surely. See, this is what I was saying about, well, let's make sure it's playable. So, it's a jihadist card, right, just check event instructions, 200, right, there is some instructions for the card, 200, critical middle, shift alignment if possible, if not, place cells from track if any, else use travel from priorities. The cells come from anywhere, I see. So it's going to prefer to bring them from the track. Where are we? From track if any, else we would use the travel from priorities to move the cells from, because it says from anywhere, places cells from anywhere. So, in a poor 1 or 2 resource country, it would prefer to shift alignment 1 box towards adversary. I think I'm okay with that, as long as it's it's a poor country. Right, is there a poor 1 or 2 resource country out there? Syria's 2. Yemen's a 1. Turkey's a 2. So we've got options. This is a good finish for us. It doesn't. All these things aren't going to matter to us. If they shift the alignment, they're either going to shift this to neutral, this to adversary, or this to adversary. And I suppose this is what I was saying. It's the last turn of the game. They know they need to do something. And if you were the player right now, you'd be rolling a minor. You'd be using that for 1 resource. You'd be grabbing 1 from reserves, and you'd be doing 2 die rolls to attempt to shift that to fair, wouldn't you? Well, I've not intervened any time at all throughout the game, so it's like I think I spoke about a couple of things in the game. I want to say it was Tim again that came out with the fact that the bot does get to cheat at times, and that's what balances these things out. And you can't. Well, I mean, some games have rule 42 it, or you make your best move for it, and that. And I don't like stuff like that. I want the AI system to do everything for the AI. I don't want to step in and say, look, this is a better move for the AI. Some games do that, whereas this time you'd be saying, right, well, we're not going to do that, we're going to do this. But no, this is not one of those games. And I generally don't like playing those type of games. It puts me off a bit. You'd be as well playing the game as a 2-player game and just playing both sides, like a lot of you guys do and are quite comfortable with it, and unfortunately I'm not. But anyway, this has also got this special in this card, but after playing it or discarding it, place it face down in the proximate middle of the draw pile. That's not going to matter to the game. So however, this is a playable event. Right, card 200, critical middle. Perhaps the best way to remove the draw towards jihadism is to raise the standard of living across the spectrum of Muslim countries. The middle classes of these nations will ultimately determine their long-term political trajectory. Okay, so critical middle class prosperity shapes local politics over time. It's not a US play, so we ignore the first part. If jihadist in a poor 1 or 2 resource country, place up to 2 cells from anywhere, or shift alignment 1 box towards adversary. The event instructions want to prefer the second option there, shifting the alignment. Shift alignment if possible, and then if not, place cells. Well, I can shift alignment. Where are we? Shift alignment 1 box towards adversary. So it's got to be a poor 1 or 2 resource country. And to select this, actually I'm not sure. This is a 3 resource. This is a 3 resource. And this is a 3 resource. They're all poor countries. This is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 2. So it's between Turkey, Syria and Yemen. What am I doing? I'm shifting alignment. Right, there is a bit about that, isn't there? It's been a while since we've looked at that. Is this a bot? No, alignment and governance. Is this a bot thing? Well, this is the bot rules, yeah. So I think it's in here. When an event instructs to shift alignment or auto governance, jihadist bot selects the target country using the jihad column of the priorities table. Good stuff. Right, jihad column priorities table between Turkey, Syria and Yemen. Okay? Hang on. I'll give it a second. Right, before we go and look at that, I just took a little break, wandered over the computer again, just checking in to see if somebody's had to go answer my question. There wasn't an answer to my question, but Hammers made a comment. It would have been the start of this turn when I was looking through my cards, and he's warned me not to do a regime change because at the end of turn that's going to be green and they're going to score the resources. So my take on that is, the answer to my question is yes, they're going to get these resources. Oh, there's nothing I can do about it now. Hammer. It's the important bit's not winning the game. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a really close finish to things. Yeah, that's a bit harsh, that though. The fact that it wasn't Islamist rule, and but the rule, going by the rule book, it says that that's going to count, because that's green. It's going to count them as 2 Islamist rule resources. So looks like, he seems to know his stuff. So my guess is, he's actually said, "Don't regime change." Unfortunately, you know that I'm a way ahead of you there in playthrough terms, Hammer, and it's gone, it's done. You'll have slapped your head probably when I done it, saying, "No, don't do it. Well, I have. I also felt like it spoiled this card. I'd forgot about this. Can't really play this. Well, I can play it at the very last card, so I'm alright with that. The other bit I made a mess of was playing that card to increase my prestige, knowing that I was going to have to roll prestige. I should have known I was going to have to roll prestige. It's been a long time. In fact, we've not even carried out a regime change in this game, have we? I don't think we have. This has been a weird, different type of game. So it seems that although this is not technically at 6, it's going to count 2 more resources and be 6 for them. Well, I suppose technically, while that regime change marker's green, they are at 6. So I would need to have 13 resources to win the game. Okay. Right, well, we know we're getting away with keeping this good, because this is their last move, and all they're going to do is shift alignment in one of these 3 countries, which we'll get to in a minute. I do have one slim chance, and it's Egypt. I think it's only Egypt that can do it, isn't it? Yeah, and Egypt's not going to shift alignment, is it? No. Good. That would have been annoying. It's either going to be Syria, Turkey, or Yemen, and none of them matter. Yes, I could have done this in Syria, tried to turn that good. That would actually, turning that good would remove the regime change as well, wouldn't it? But there's no modifiers at all. In fact, no, sorry. There's a -1 modifier in there, and then come the time when we're trying to go to good, there'll be a -2 modifier. So we do have a shot in here, but it's a very slim chance. We need to use both our cards. But we can leave this until polarization. So, yeah. Okay, so what was I doing? We're trying to find a choice between Turkey, Syria, and Yemen. And what was it again? Was it the jihad column? Jihad column on the priorities table. Turkey, Syria, or Yemen. Jihad. Right, if it's a jihad, it's not. We're shifting alignment. Pakistan, no. Baziz regime, that's the one. Syria's got a Baziz regime marker. So Syria's got a Baziz regime. So I'm going to have to move things about. Syria's really been busy. So it's going to go poor neutral from poor ally. Still got the caliphate. Still got the Baziz regime. And that's all. Nothing else happens. Yeah, that was the last card play. I can't believe I've lost this game that way though. I've done it to myself, haven't I? I've actually done it to myself. I don't know what else could I, or what should I have done? Put some troops in, rather than just regime change. I could have moved. To be honest, I could have put the 6 troops in there without doing the regime change. Yeah, that would probably have been a better idea. I just didn't think about the green marker. And I've talked about it many a time before and thought it never really has an effect. Well, it's going to have an effect in this game. Okay, that was the last 2 cards played. Oh, hang on. That should have had a little red cube in it as well, Grant, because that was actually played for event. They've got 2 reserves anyway, so technically they would have been looking at getting another one there, but they're full up anyway. So these 2 cards go away. That is them done. So, well, let's just make sure. I mean, this, as an event, I need to play this first. As an event, it ends the Civil War. At the end of the Civil War in Iraq, that's not what I'm fussed about, is it? Iraq's going to go good in the polarisation step. Oh yeah, in fact, I don't want to end the Civil War. There'll not be a polarisation step. Oh, see the things you can get sort of drawn into. I mean, this one just proves it. But there's me talking about I could play this and remove the Civil War. Then there's no polarisation, so then I'd have to do a War of Ideas roll rather than... You know, I can still do the War of Ideas roll, but I think I'm going to have to use both these cards to have a go at Egypt. Egypt's the only one, isn't it? I mean, Indonesia and Malaysia's that poor as well, but there's no... In fact, there's a reaction marker in there, so that's worse. This one's got an awakening marker, but it's a neutral. This has got awakening, and it's an ally. And the only way I can score points... Yeah. I can't get rid of the Caliphate. Well, that's not going to help me either, because if, assuming Amor's right there at 6, I need 13. I'm going to go up to 10 when Iraq goes good. I need 3 more points. So if reducing them to 5 and me being at 10 doesn't win me the game either. And I don't think I can get rid of that Caliphate capital. Anyway, I think I've spoke about it. Can't do it. Okay, let's do it. Let's finish this game. Well, a couple of good die rolls, eh? So I'm going to play both of these just for operations. So Gaddafi, 3 ops. And I'm going to attempt a War of Ideas in Egypt. Unfortunately, my prestige at 1. Yeah, you've no adjacent good either. So you're going to be on a -1 for the second roll. Assuming you get this one, you're going to be at a -1, needing a 6. There's no other option. I don't think there's another option. No, I can't think of anything. That's not to say it's not out there, but I can't think of it. Okay, so War of Ideas in Egypt. It's poor ally. So we're going to shift its governance because it's that ally. If we fail by 1, well, it's game over anyway. If we fail by 1, we'd place an aid marker there. We've got 1 awakening marker. So our modifier. Oops, showing things about. Our modifiers are. We're not attempting to shift to good, we're attempting to shift to fair. Global war and terror penalty is at 0, that's fine. US prestige is at -1. So we're sitting at a -1. Each aid marker would be a +1, we've not got an aid marker. Adjacent good ally would be a +1, we've not got an adjacent good ally. So we're sitting at -1, however we have 1 awakening marker here. So we're sitting at net modifier is 0. Right, it'd be good if this die roll works, because then we've got the one last die roll. Just roll a 6 for the game. But this one needs to work as well. Fortunately, this one can be a 5 or a 6. Yeah, I'm just looking about, trying to find something that can help, but no, it's just not to be. Okay, here we go. We need a 5 or a 6. Oh, 4. Damn. That's a shame. I would have liked to have had the excitement of just that one last die roll. So we failed by 1, so we do actually receive an aid marker here. But it doesn't shift its governance. So last card. No, it's just... Oh, I was forgetting. See, if we'd went fair, the awakening marker was going away as well, wasn't it? So, yeah, we couldn't have done it then. Because we would have been at fair right now. The aid marker wouldn't be there. The awakening marker wouldn't be there. We'd be rolling on a -2. 6 minus 2 is 4. So we couldn't have succeeded. I never thought of that. So shall we just roll in that again in Egypt using my last card? Yeah, I don't see why not. Okay, so I'm going to play Quagmire. Right, now the 3 ops, as the 3 ops jihadist card, it says play if prestige medium or low and a regime change country has a cell. Prestige is at low, regime change country with a cell, so it is playable. But it says US randomly discards 2 cards. Playable jihadist events on them happen. I've no cards in my hand. And then US posture is soft, we're at soft. So nothing's going to change. So I'm just going to play this. I'm not going to bother reading the event. So I'm just going to play that for, well, I suppose I should, because it is actually playable. We had the right page and it's pretty short anyway. So Quagmire, always a concern for the United States, the Obama doctrine seems to be driven by a pledge that this event will never occur on their watch. So Quagmire, US public wearies of war. So it is playable, like I say, US random discards 2 cards. I've no cards. It doesn't matter in what order I do this at. We can just trigger the event first. Playable jihadist events on the cards that you discard would be played, would happen, and then US posture is soft. My posture is at soft. So nothing happens. We've got 3 ops. We'll attempt to shift this to fair. This time we've got a +1 aid, +1 awaken, and -1 prestige. So we've got a +1 this time. With the aid marker. So yeah, we need a 4, 5, or a 6. Yeah, we fail. Okay. Well, just as well, it didn't matter. Yeah. Okay, that's my 2 cards played. Just discarded. That is the end of the turn, and it will be the end of the game once we've tallied things up. So -1 to funding, there's no fracking and pirates in play. So down to 5. Not really relevant, it's just a polarisation bit that's going to be relevant, I think. -1 prestige of any countries is Islamic rule. Well, there is, but my prestige is at 1 anyway. So we can't go any further. +1 prestige if we were the same in global terror. We're not. Reserves to 0. We did. First time we did actually have a reserve, so that goes to 0. They get to cheat again. Return pots to available. There's no pots that came out. Right, polarisation / attrition. Polarisation only matters if there's a difference of 2 or 3. 1's not going to change anything. So we've got 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and there's 1 down here. So there's not any more than 1 of a difference. So nothing's going to change there. Right, attrition. Just use the player aid, I think. So attrition. Let's see here. Immediately following polarisation, check for attrition each civil war country. Right, Iraq Civil War. Each player counts the number of pieces. Each group of 6 pieces inflicts 1 hit on the other player. We've got 6 pieces. We've got 5 troops and a militia. So we don't need to roll a dice, we automatically get one hat. There's no cells to hit, so where are we? Jadis player removes 2 cells per hit if any troops or advisors are present. So we want to remove 2 cells. And then unfulfilled hits will change alignment / governance. So that's all it says there. Maybe you need the rulebook for that one. Let's just, yeah. If hits inflicted exceed the number of pieces, each unfulfilled hit shifts that country's alignment 1 box towards ally, but it's already an ally. Or if already an ally, adversary will adjust governance 1 level towards good. Note that change to good will end the civil war. So that's what's happening. Iraq is going good. Ends the civil war. That caliphate must come away then, because this is now a good country. I think that comes away. Where's that go? No. The aid markers go away? I think so, Grant. If success, right, because if war idea shifts it to good, you remove all regime change, business remit, and aid markers. Yeah, I mean, these come away as well. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Where they are, right, and then we can make these a bit tidier, hopefully. There we go, good. There's nothing to stop the cadre from getting removed, though, I don't think. So that was a shift to good from fair, which doesn't change that. However, the country Iraq is 3 resources. So 1, 2, 3. We're up to 10. If they were only at 4, we'd have our victory. But it seems that going by Hamler's saying this is at 6 at the moment. So fair enough. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that if I'd known it, or if I'd thought about it. But yeah. So that's attrition. There's no other Civil War countries. Deal new cards. We go to deal new cards. There's not enough cards, so the game ends. So where are we? Rulebook. So how to win. And remember, there's different conditions for a win when you're playing the solo game. But we never won by any of these conditions anyway. Well, I want to say it. No, there's no point looking at it. It references Rule 9.1 in the expansion to tell you how you win. Elimination of the last cell does not cause a US win. Labyrinth rule over 6 or more results. They would have won anyway then. Well, this doesn't get counted till the end of the key. I don't know. Actually, maybe when I turned that as Labyrinth rule, then it would have triggered the win condition for them. Sorry, when I took regime change of it. That's even worse then. I think that's what would have happened. It's a funny one, that though. Yeah, so maybe the game would have been over before that. Anyway, if there's not a win with that, you look at the 2.3, the end of game victory. It tells you here about the regime change as well. So let's just have a glance. Labyrinth can be played in 3 different lengths of game. If none of the conditions of 2.1 of a card by the selected game end, reshuffle off the card deck, which is the first, second, or third. We were only playing 1 deck. The US wins have more than twice as many resources are under good governance as are under Islamic rule. Otherwise, the jihadists win. For this game end calculation only, So it's for the game end calculation only, so they wouldn't have been at 6 then, would they? Nah, maybe they would have been still. Maybe they still would have been classed as 6. No, I don't know though. For this game end calculation only, count any regime change placed this turn as Islamist rule. I still find that a hard one to take, like. I'm hoping Hammer's wrong, to be honest. But I did sort of, when I looked at the rule and just read that rule there, when I read it at first, I thought, oh no, that means we've lost. So I'm not sure. I don't think it would have been counting for them at 6 until now. Now they would count this at 6. And the thing is, that's an automatic win for them. We're doing game end. So I don't know. Either way, it looks like we've lost. So anyway, it was really good. Really enjoyed it. I know there was a bit of a gap there over the last week or so where I failed to get to the table. I knew I was coming back to finish it though. I knew I was going to do that. So yeah, it was good fun. Now, where do I go from here? Do I set up the Forever? I mean, I've still got the decks there waiting to go. The Forever War cards. I did say I was going to set that up and play the scenario, probably the main scenario, the Forever War, which would set it up for that. I don't know. It sort of feels like maybe I should take a break from that. Although I've nothing else wargame wise thinking to chuck on the table and get going. I mean, before I put this up, admittedly I was adamant I was going to play Atlantic Chase, so I could probably get that up and running instead. I don't know though. I might actually set up this Forever War scenario. I'm likely to have something else set up. My other table's clear at the back of me, so I've got an option to set up something else there if I want to. I thought about the couple of games I'd been playing, non-war games. I thought about maybe chucking the camera on. Obsession, I've done that before. Obsession, but I was playing a bit of that again. It was really good. And Civolution was the other game I was playing. Thought about chucking the camera on that as well, but yeah, it's maybe not of interest to most of you out there, but I'm sure you play other games, some of you anyway. It's not just war game stuff, isn't it? I mean, this is, I suppose it is still a war game, this, but it's a bit looser term, isn't it, a war game for this. But yeah, most enjoyable, really enjoyed it. Looks like we've lost. Let me go and see if somebody, before I just shut off for the playthrough here, just in case somebody has made an answer to my question. Okay, still not to be any answer. Which is a little bit of a shame, just to get a bit of confirmation. Yeah, I want to feel that Hammer knows what he's talking about, and it does count, and that's that. However, like I say, I don't mind if it's a loss. It was close. It looks like I could have done things better in that last turn, clearly, by not doing that. Basically just giving them 2 resources. And like I say, I could have handled that differently. I could have just deployed 6 troops, I think, into the country. And that would have slowed them down from carrying out a major jihad. So that would have been... And it was a 3 ops card I used, wasn't it? Congress Acts was a 3 ops card. So... yeah. I could see how I definitely could have probably won. And not dragged myself into a defeat, really, by doing things differently. But there's lots of choices to make, isn't there? And I'm not the smartest, so I'm sure a lot of you could have handled that better. But most enjoyable anyway. That's the main thing for me. Mistakes wise, yeah, as things got closer at the end, there seemed to be more and more. I want to say most of them were small mistakes, but still mistakes. Most of them I was able to make sort of fix to, but still doesn't feel comfortable with me about that. But are you ever going to get Are you ever going to record a game that doesn't have a mistake in it, Grant? I don't think so. Certainly not these war games anyway. Maybe there's some poor games that you could play that might not include a mistake, but stuff. Okay, anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, following along. Thanks for all your comments. I appreciate them all. And yeah, we might see a new deck and the same map coming up shortly. You never know. If not, I'll be back with something else soon. Okay, cheers.